Hello and welcome to the Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. Here we are with you on the 1st of July 2022. 1st of July. I can't believe how quick this year's going. It's literally just flying by. Anyway, busy old week. Basically, we started off, if you remember, on Saturday. We had 2 live shows which were streamed across social media and everything else for free. So obviously non-members, you can go watch this ones as well. And we spent all day building with you. So I was working on the Yellow Peril, which is the CL, which I can't remember what it is now. Is it 215 as well, down in there, which is nicely now into primer. And then obviously going right the way through, we were back with you in the afternoon where I did get into primer, and we're all building various kits. So it's a full day of builds, if you like, by all of us. We're carrying on with some of the builds we've been doing for a while now, and some new ones as well. And obviously answering all your questions and chat from social media, as well as obviously on the Flory Models site. So if you want to go back, if you haven't watched any of those ones are available up on social media. And obviously they're available on the main Flory Models site as well. So that was the weekend covered. Then back with you on Monday. Next part of the actual monogram 48 scale Voodoo as we was going down. So part 2, which basically covered doing all the cockpit work. So again, I'm trying to do this completely out of the box as it would have been back in the day. So just using new techniques though. So for instance, down here in the cockpit, this was all done with Posca pens. So just base coated the entire thing with a little bit of Tamiya grey, light grey, and then we went through the motions of everywhere else on this using obviously Posca pens for the black panels, Posca pens for all the switches and different colours and dials and things, and then a little bit of oils just for doing some of the harnesses and things like that down in there in the cockpit. So as you can see, oh look, well, there you go, you can see me actually doing it live. So doing that one, as I say, definitely didn't do that back in the day, but yes, a lot easier, as I said, using the oils. Then it was a case of getting it all together, which to be honest with you, I have to say it's a beautiful kit, went together with no real problems at all. A little bit of scrape cleaning, because obviously we do want to keep all the raised panel lines as would have been, so we've tried to keep those all in place as much as possible, and then obviously taking care of the nose. Nose fit is actually beautiful on this kit. I have to say, it's amazing how modern kits struggle sometimes. Just get a simple thing of putting a nose on, but this one absolutely was a gem, no problem at all. So that fitted lovely down in there. So there you go. That was part 2 of the Voodoo build. You can go off at members and see that one now. Tuesday was me and Matt's vlog show. Not quite a podcast. We were here yapping around. That day's discussion was all about paint. So going back from the dawn of time of grinding up rock and then smudging it on your hands and doing cave paintings to what we use today. Here we are sort of, you know, in the hobby 2022 of the modern paints like lacquers and that. So we started off obviously talking about our old favourites like Humbrals and things like that as well for the enamel paints. Then we were talking about obviously how acrylics seem to be the flavour of the month around about the end of the 90s, beginning of the millennium. And then how lacquers spread across the world, and you know how it's a little bit like fashion, it tends to sort of follow patterns and going back, and now acrylics seem to be coming back a lot more as well. So we're just waiting for enamels to get a bit of a resurge, and we will be using those again. But it's quite interesting because obviously we're talking about the pros and cons of each type of paint. Obviously if you're starting out with enamels, with hand painting, no problem at all, and then obviously the problems when you get into airbrushing with them and so forth with all the other ones, and the different varieties of acrylics. So proper acrylics versus you know, alcohol based, what I call synthetic acrylics, and then right the way through obviously to hot products like lacquers and things like that as well. So and then obviously all the metal effects in between, and it was a good old show. It's good to get you guys sort of involved with this one as well. We answered lots of questions as well about it, so if you want to see that one's available to watch. Obviously that was Monday's show. PM show was up on Wednesday, so obviously we're talking about all the latest kit releases, of which there's hardly any. It's very, very quiet out there at the moment. But obviously we have got some pre-orders going up for the membership if you wanted to. We got Guns Bunny, who's definitely not a Bugs Bunny, as well, plus the fact of all the other ones. We were talking about obviously the state of the hobby, as we always do, and what's coming down the line and what we're looking forward to and things like that. That is a free to watch, so if anybody wants to see that one, that's up on social media now, obviously on the YouTube channel, things like that as well. So if you want to go off and see that one, you can do. And then it was Matt Day, as you know. Now we do this thing, we've split up my workings a little bit as well. So we tend to do every other Thursday night. And if we don't do the Thursday, we do the Tuesday as well. So Matt has a little vlog now that he puts out every 2 weeks on the Thursday, along with his next video build that he's working on. And that's a great picture of Matt. And apparently he wanted that one, so I'm leaving it there. Anyway, he was talking obviously about his latest builds that he's been doing, that little World War I car that he's finished off recently, some of the figure painting that he's working on at the moment. And obviously he's been out and being a complete, hoarder for airbrushes. He's bought a really cheap one off of Amazon just to see what it's like and to basically strip it for parts. So you can see all of that one up now for members. That one is up on the forum, and obviously it's on the main site if you want to grab that one. And obviously all of these are on Patreon as well. So if you want to grab any of those, you can become a Patreon member and you can take care of that. And then obviously the first part of Matt's one that he's doing for the figures. So obviously this is to go with the vehicle for his Wimmick that he's worked on with the Milan system onto it. So this is the infantry that's going to go with that. So he's done them as a standalone one. So part one is up there now. You can see that one. And that's obviously talking about the assembly and the priming of the figures and how he's going to go about it on those ones. So if you want to see those ones, members, they are up with you right now to see. And then that gets you up to today, where part 3 of the actual monogram 148 scale Voodoo is up as well. So we've made great progress on this, which I'll show you in a moment. And in here we were talking about removing obviously the formation lights. They've had to come off because obviously it doesn't have them on this version. So we've removed those and we made a little bit of damage around this one, as you might imagine. So we've had to go in there and put in the raised panel lines back in. So we've done that one as well. And again, we had a little bit of trouble with the wing fit. I know it's got spoken about a bit last week with the members, and it was true. By cutting out that center section, which I don't think I got a photo of. I thought I had a photo of it, but not on this bit. But anyway, there's a bar, bracing bar. Take that out, fits like a glove. It was that. So anyway, we just took 1mm out of that and it works lovely. And then basically banging it all together, coming together really, really well. A little bit of glue, and there she is. She's all in there. So again, it was one of those where it was a case of, right, we're going to push through with it, get it all together, and it doesn't fail to impress. It's very simple in its construction by today's standards, but in some ways, that's the beauty of these kits. They go together and they're strong kits. I have to say this, it feels like I club people to death with it because it is such a strong kit when it's together. And again, little issues, if you like, that you have to deal with. The little heads-up display gun sight on this one, it doesn't actually fit under the clear part. So by thinning it out to making it to the scale thickness it would be, means that the canopy does fit. And then obviously we fitted canopy, test fit down in there, and then we came along, PVA glue it in place just in case it goes horrendously wrong later. And they're in there. And then that basically completed off. A little bit of sanding round, and we were all set, ready to go with that one. Unfortunately, though, we then come across the usual problems. So we went across and got it into primer, as you'll see on Monday's part. It will cover all of this one. And then we found we had a few little issues. So as you can see down on here, this is coat number 4. Down in, because I actually made a little bit of a flat spot, so I've had to bring it back up now to give us that nice curve on the back, but the rest of it is all in there. We've now I've bitten the bullet and I've taken off the little search and track on the nose. Again, I'm doing it as one of the A versions, so it wouldn't have it. I know the B has, but again, my struggle is I'm struggling with decals for this one because they're very, very limited, especially here in the UK, to get hold of decals. So anyway, one of the kind members is sending me some over, so I'm going to be converting it into an A version with the decals as well as we go right the way through. But generally, it's gone together really, really nicely. It has been a fun kit. I do enjoy working on these older kits. It'd be nice to do another one now, which I have got one, and actually do it as a recessed to go around and completely rescribe it. But again, the whole point of this one is to do it as a raised panel line, as it would have been in the day, so we can tackle some of the problems with weathering raised panel lines. So I want to show all of that on this particular build. But yeah, it's coming along really, really nicely. It's a great looking kit. It's a great looking aircraft. It's a beefy aircraft. And I think in the Canadian sort of metal, we're going to do it in aluminium finish as well. It should look very much the part on that one. So coming together very nicely. Say Monday's part will get you right up to where I am now, if not a little bit more. So it'll be basically just before the gloss coat goes on. So there's a few little touches we've had to do to it, a few little things we needed to correct. And I've shown you all of that in the next part, which will be up with you on Monday as we make our way through. The other thing as well, over in review section, we've got a couple of reviews up for you this week. So the first one that went up was for a good old classic monogram again, and when I did the review of the F105 Thud. Right the way through. Again, a classic kit, let's face it. It's a beautiful kit, really, really nice, great surface detail. Again, it's all raised, but that's part of these kits at the end of the day. And again, the instructions are a little bit, yeah, okay, but then they're simple kits, so it doesn't need any more. But again, all the detail is right the way through on here. You can see you've got some nice options down in there. And when you get to grips with it, you can see the surface detail, although it's raised, it's got lots of potential down in there. Again, it'd be another one to do. And yes, I know a lot of people will say, well, you can do the Hobby Boss one. Yeah, I know, but there's something about these kits. They're really, really nice. So anyway, we do a little bit of a review on here and have a good look around it. Cockpit detail, look at that. And all the surface paneling detail and all of those, as you can see, right the way around on this particular kit. And as always, the clear parts are crystal clear. All right, there's a little bit of scuffing, but this kit is now, 40 years old. So it's been around a bit. Anyway, those are all down in there as well. So if you want to go off and see that one, you can just click on the link and that'll take you straight into there. And then the other one up there is the Helldiver, which is actually one of my favorite kits. It's a bit of a classic of mine. I have built it in the past. It's beautiful. It goes together well. And again, light years ahead of the competition. The detail in these kits was absolutely fantastic. As you can see, there's a little bit of excerpt from the manual here. You can see how much attention, but having the little guide photos as well. I know they're in black and white, but it's got written descriptions as well. Really, really were good instructions back in the day by the Pro Modeler series from Monogram Rebel. As you can see, very, very nice down in there. Again, you get a nice piece of photo etch with it, which is just adds a lot of detail. Okay, we talk about it in the video as well. At this point, I would bin them off and get an aftermarket set, but you might be able to get them back. A little bit of yellowing down in there, but the surface detail on these was beautifully done. Really, really nicely done, as you can see. Some nice touches. And again, you got a little bit of sink marks down in here, but apparently because canning is all the effect these days, you could just call it that. And away you go. And then again, a little bit of flash on some of the parts, but beautiful clear parts. Really nice, sharp, crisp, clear parts on those ones as well. So again, if you want to go off, you can see that actual review. That one is up here. So there's 2 reviews up for you today in this little section, as you can see. And again, if you want to see any other reviews that we talk about on the shows, they are down in here. We've literally got hundreds. I think we're up near the 400 marker reviews now. So if you want to see any of those ones, they are down in there, or about you can go through directly in the search section down in there. The other big news is obviously the group builds. It is the first, so the 70s group build has finished now. I locked it down at 7 o'clock this morning. Happy to say that out of the 147 entries we had down in there, we got 105 have been completed. What I will do on Monday and probably Tuesday is take a couple of days to sort all of this lot out. So again, if you notice where you can't find your build, just have a look at your own little areas and it will tell you where they are. But these will be put back into the actual build thread sections, all right? So they will go in there. And obviously the reveal one on Monday, I'll get the video done for it and we will sort that out. And then next week, me and the team will sit down all together and choose our top selections for the best build threads. So these are for the work in progress, not for the actual reveals. It's going to be for the actual work in progress threads, and all of those people we select will get a little something else. Nathan's been working very hard on a medal system. It's a virtual medal that you'll be able to show in your signature strips. As soon as we got that finished off next week, I'll tell you how you can put it into your signature and we can sort all of that for you. Or I might even pop it in there for myself. I might do it for you to save you a little bit of hassle, all right? So those will go down in there for the new system. What that does mean though is obviously the Greebly one has just started. So we've got the info down in here for this. This is our scratch building, type effect. I know Greebly seems to be the American phrase for it, but basically it's scratch building. So at the end of the day, just think of things like Star Wars, and then obviously all of the stuff from the 70s where there's a lot of scratch built, and even going back to today where, obviously if you look at the Crest one was built as a model and shot live instead of it being, something else. So this will incorporate everything from 3D printed to full conversions on kits through to obviously completely scratch building objects or just kit bashing. So that's the bit where you literally just come along and you say, I don't know, we're going to take a kit and we're going to convert it into something else. Maybe that brings 2 kits together. Maybe it's using one and adding a lot to it. I know there's a lot of excitement for this one, and there's tons of stuff already started on this where people have got some fantastic ideas for putting them up there. But again, this is one of those where you take a kit, you can do CAD work, print off your own resin and add it to it, or you can do it all from scratch, whichever whichever way you want to do it. So again, there's no sort of limit on this one. You can, you know, obviously do a full conversion onto a kit, or obviously you can just add something to an old kit you may have kicking around. So you might have an old destroyed model, but you can use it as a base and then add a load to it and convert it into something else. But the whole point of this one is just literally let your imagination go wild. You can do anything you like, you know, and that's the great thing for it. A lot of it is obviously going to be sci-fi led purely because of its nature. So again, there's no rules, there's no rights, there's no wrong. So you can do whatever you like. So we hopefully won't have a problem with that's the wrong color, that's in the wrong markings or whatever. Because again, it doesn't matter with this one. It's going to be really interesting. There's 6 months onto this one, so you've got plenty of time as well. It's going to take you into the new year. So again, this is one of those ones where you can just take your time with it, have a go at it, building other stuff at the same time, you know, come back, have another go at it, so forth and so on with it. So it'll be hopefully one of those good builds that goes along really, really well. I'm just going to see how many entries we've got in here already, because I know it's very, very popular. So entries into that one already is 10. There's 10 people since 7 o'clock this morning which have actually got on with this one and are going to be having a go at it. So as you can see, here's the guys that have really started build threads and going through with this one. So again, talking about this one, this is one of those ones I will be doing a video a little bit later on today, which I will add, which will talk about how to set up for a group build, what's expected of you out of a group build, you know, and what you can do, and a few of the little minor rules. We don't have many rules, let's face it, but at the end of the day, there is just a few which help along with your builds and various things. So some details you can put up and stuff. But a lot of that won't count to this because it's scratch building. So scales, for instance, and stuff. Who knows? Could be anything. But again, if you've got some rough ideas of it, you can do. But again, just think steampunk and all of that. I know some of the guys down in there. We've got Mad Max inspirational stuff down in there. We've got various conversions as well and stuff. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of the ones that we've got. Kit Bash of a 72nd Revell F117 with the Italeri MiG-37. Wasn't that the Ferret? I think they called that as well. So that'll be an interesting one and various stuff. And again, I know the team are all going to take part in this one as well. I definitely have. And then obviously once I've got this one out of the way, and my next build up is this little gem, we're working on the Lancaster. So what will happen then after the Lancaster's a little bit into it, I will start on mine and I'll bring you all up to date. I've been working mine out for the last sort of year since we thought about it almost. So I've got some good ideas with it, but I still need to get a lot of stuff in. So that's something that I'm going to be working on over the next few weeks to get all the parts ready for it. But again, let your imagination run wild. If you've got some old kits that are on the old shelf of doom, you know you're never going to finish, have a look at them, think what could you do to it. So it may be taking, you know, cars and turning them into planes, or planes and turning them into cars, or whatever you want to do. You can do pretty much anything on this one. And again, the whole point is the old imagination, and what you do with it is the most important thing to this one. There's nothing to do with accuracy, because none of that will count, which is going to be one of the highlights from it. Anyway, lots of that stuff going on at the moment. So last up for us, if we just pop over to the PM Model store, obviously got various bits and pieces going on there. New arrivals, like we said on Wednesday, very, very thin on the ground, but we did have a few things in yesterday if you're watching the show at the end of it. So anyway, there we go. The Sterlings are in stock now, so those ones are all ready to go. And again, we've got the Sabre Dog here, which is a beautiful kit. It's absolutely a fantastic kit, that one. So if you want to grab that one, you can. And again, we've got those ICM bits dropping in all the time and various other ones, as you can see down in here, which we've spoken about before. So if you want to grab any of those, hopefully they'll be all coming in. I know we've got more deliveries coming in today as well. So we've got lots of stuff going on in there. And then usual thing, the specials for today have been updated. So down in here, we've got the Intruder, beautiful kit, really, really nice. The A10, until that gets superseded by someone, that is definitely the best one today. And again, for 33 quid, basically, it's a bargain. Really, really nice. And again, we've got the Aardvark, we've got the gorgeous Zeros, we've got the MiG-23s down in there, we've got the Trumpeter T-62s. And speaking of the actual Thunder Chief, or the Thud, there you go. You can also get it in a nice, tasty 172nd one as well. So again, lots of other ones down in here, and we've got various things. The Cobra's on sale as well. So if you want to get any bits and pieces, they are available as always from the PM store. So you can get to that one on the links down below, or the link that's obviously on the Flory Models site. All right. Last up, because it is getting very, very thin on stuff now, so we won't be talking about this much more. We've got some of the areas down in here for the end of range. So obviously we've got Boba Fett's ship, which is 30 quid, bargain. So yeah, so look at that. That's all 25% off. These are all brand new kits. It's just the end of our line series. So obviously if you grab any of those, you can do. They're all brand new, 25% off as well. So lots of good stuff down in there. And that is about it for this week. It was a busy week. Very good. So I'm going to crack on with this little lady and hopefully get her nicely done. If I don't get her into the gloss coat over the weekend, it will definitely be done on Monday. Let's make our way through with that. I'll be busy, obviously, beginning of next week. One, it's beginning of the month and it's VAT and stuff like that. And also I'm going to be working on the forum, getting all those build threads sorted. And obviously next Friday, we'll be leaving you with obviously the build work and the reveal photos from everybody who took part in the 70s group build. All right. So again, full details of that will be up with you when we speak to you about it next week. This week, though, as always, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted. My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing and keep your words naked. You got me blushing. And you forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow. In immortality, I can see you and me free. In immortality, I can see you and me free. You left me crying and running through a ghost town, alone and stranded. Why leave me hoping and guessing for the answer?